Welcome to Sheoldred. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got 2 lands, and yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like this. We can find ourselves a card draw. So, well, we do have Eye of Vecna, and so we can get some card draw. Man, every time I see Vecna, I think of Stranger Things. I know Vecna's been in Dungeons and Dragons for a long time, but I really did enjoy the last season of Stranger Things. So if you haven't seen that, I do highly recommend it. But yes, welcome to Sheoldred. We've got some fun commander today. It's going to lead off with Swamp. And we'll go ahead and go for Imperial Seal. Let's go and grab a repeated. I'm pretty sure we have Phyrexian, or yeah, we do have Phyrexian Arena here. So we're going to grab Phyrexian Arena. That'll go on top of our library, that we can get some good, consistent card draw and have some fun. But yes, welcome to Sheoldred. Playing against Satoru? I think that's what we're going to roll with for right now, so we'll make that work. Let's go and have Eye of Vecna enter the battlefield. That way we can draw a card and lose a life. Read the bones, okay? And then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. We're playing Sheoldred, the Apocalypse. Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Then whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Playing against Satoru Umezawa. And then whenever you activate an ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability only triggers once each turn. Then each creature in your hand has a ninjutsu for 2 colorless. Now we're going to go for Phyrexian Arena, so we're not going to pay for Eye of Vecna. But next turn, we most certainly will. So let's go for Phyrexian Tower. Let's get Phyrexian Tower down. Or Phyrexian Arena, excuse me, then anything else pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, our opponent's commander does give their creatures ninjutsu for 2 colorless and Dimir colors. So we did cover both commanders. So give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate that. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders if you want to play Magic Online. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home in the Phyrexian Arena and you're cheering on Sheoldred to get some card draw and to hit a land, it is officially free time, so let's have some fun. So we can pay 2 to draw right now, and that would cut us off Read the Bones. So we're actually just going to hold up on this Eye of Vecna for right now. So, alright, so let's go to our draw step. Hopefully we hit the land for the turn. At the very, very least, we'll end up going for Read the Bones. So let's go ahead and go for the, yeah, because that's the top 3 cards. We get a Scry and Scurry for 2. With Read the Bones. So let's go and put, and actually I really don't mind go for the Throat, because that's going to be just a straight up, not an artifact creature. So let's go ahead and put it on top. I actually like both of these. Let's go and put Swamp onto the battlefield, and then anything, actually yeah, we'll go and go for Viscera Seer. I think that'll work out. And then anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, it is officially free time, so let's have some fun. As far as the Sheoldred bid, this is Sheoldred build. This is pretty, nothing too crazy in here. You know, I did start with my Gonti core, you know, a lot of my core mono black foundational pieces, you know, Phyrexian Arena, Urborg, different things like that. So we do have the Gonti core in here. I did take away a lot of the enter the battlefield style effects in here because we don't really have a ton of them in there. We do have some of the heavy hitters in here, but as far as actually having just straight up, you know, Panharmonicon and Conjurer's Closet in here, we don't have that in here because we're not really building this enter the battlefield deck. But we are running the core Gonti package in here as far as mana rocks and, you know, being able to develop mana and things like that. One thing that we did put in here that I'm really excited about is we have a lot of the life gain cards in here. We've got Veto in here, so whenever we gain life, they lose life. So that's another way for us to kind of amplify the ability to kind of really attack our opponent's life total. And let's see what they've got down, actually. Yeah, so they have no mana right now, and they're not going to be able to... Okay, so they're going to be able to swing in for 2, but they're not going to be able to go for that ninjutsu activation. I think that's correct, yeah. They cost 1 less to activate. Okay, so with the silver out there, that's going to make it 1 less for their commander. So we do need to watch out for something kind of crazy coming down. This is actually my first time playing against this commander, which is very interesting considering how popular it was and didn't really come out that not that long ago. So let's get the Phyrexian Arena. Okay, that's good. Let's see if we hit a land drop, because a board wipe would be absolutely wonderful on this one. Not going to pay for Eye of Vecna. Oh, beautiful. We hit a land. So let's go and lead off with Swamp, and let's go and hit the reset button on this one. Let's go for Crux of Fate. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. We're going to get a Scry on Viscera Seer themselves. And Urborg, yes, we're actually good with that. We'll leave that on top of our library. Let's go for Destroy all non-dragon creatures. and then hit the reset button, then anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. Yes, so we'll end up with that Urborg, and then that's going to give us the opportunity, and actually, hopefully our opponent didn't cycle through their turn, hitting the yield button. But yeah, so we've got some minor kind of life gain stuff in here. One of the big heavy hitters for a deck like this, which is a lot of fun, is Peer into the Abyss, which is 4 mana. It's 7 mana, but it's, we'll look it up here in a second. First of all, the art on it is just absolutely wild. And it just stacks really well with Sheoldred. So, alright, so let's get the Eye of Vecna trigger on the stack. We got the Phyrexian Arena drawn to Urborg. And we're going to end up going for... Actually, I think I'm okay with... Yeah, we'll hold off one more go. We're getting to the point where we can start paying for that Eye of Vecna card draw. So, let's go and lead off with Urborg. Let's get Sheoldred onto the battlefield. That's going to be 1-2. There we go. And what we're going to do on this one is we could end up going for Ransack the Lab, but we have a couple different options. We can do it instant speed, and actually they've got counter magic, so yeah, counterspell, that's fine, go for it. And then we'll return Sheoldred back to the command zone. I think what we'll probably still end up doing is we could go for Ransack the Lab, but I like leaving up Go for the Throat. If they try to get down their commander or something like that, then we can go for the Throat and get that set up. Oh, with Peer into the Abyss, let me get this pulled up real quick. With Peer into the Abyss, it does cost a lot of mana, but it is one of those cards that is so good in Sheoldred. So we have Sheoldred, so whenever you draw a card, you gain it. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So Peer into the Abyss, target player draws card equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life, round up each time. So this is one of those things that can get out of hand very, very quickly. All right, they're going to go for Sensei's Divining Top. In response to that, let's go for the Throat. That way we can send our opponent's commander back to the command zone, and then we can get Sheoldred down and hopefully start getting some value pieces going. So that's going to go back to the command zone. But yeah, with Peer into the Abyss, that's kind of one of the... it's not a combo win for the deck, but if we've got Sheoldred on the battlefield, that's definitely a one-hit KO and 1v1 commander. And then outside of that, as far as any other kind of goofy stuff in here, we do have a very, very light, like, additional card draw in here. You can see we have Saison, Perverter of Truth. And so, if that gets to a point to where we can get the card draw flowing at the table, we definitely want that to happen. But so we've got Eye of Vecna, but we have Sheoldred at 6. So we're not going to pay for Eye of Vecna right now. And then we draw into another swamp. So let's go and get the swamp down for the turn. And that is going to be 7 total mana, which unfortunately will cut us off going for, yeah, you know, if they've got spot removal, they've got it. Let's get Sheoldred on the battlefield. I really want to start chipping away at our opponent's, yeah, there we go. I really want to start chipping away at our opponent's life total, so anything else we will pass the turn. And then even then, if they do have spot removal, we do have Undying Evil and Undying Malice, which is going to allow us to pop that onto Sheoldred and have that go to the command zone. So if you're new to mono black or you really haven't built a lot of mono black decks, one of the best things you can be running as far as protection is a lot of these 1 mana reanimation spells. They're not technically reanimation spells, but they just bring our commander back to the battlefield. But with Undying Evil, let's say our opponent goes for a piece of spot removal right now with Sheoldred, we're going to be able to give Sheoldred Undying, so it goes to the graveyard and then it comes back to the battlefield with a +1 counter on it. And it's just one of the cheapest ways to dodge the commander tax and not have to recast your commander out of the command zone. So whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of the library. Okay, that's fine. It's going to be Fallen Shinobi on the battlefield. That is a 5/4, so whenever it deals combat damage... Alright, so that is something we do want to deal with. We do have Obnixilis, and so that is something we're probably going to end up going for with Obnixilis, is popping that particular creature. So let's get the Phyrexian Arena trigger on the stack. We have Dark Petition, and then let's see what we're going to get a little bit of life gain. And we don't... Do we have the... Yeah, we do have... I think we have the Instant Sorcery for Dark Petition online. So I'm not going to pay for Eye of Vecna right now. And then we draw... Get another card draw for the turn. That's going to be Ancient Craving. And so let's go... I kind of like dealing with their that creature out there. So let's tap down. Tap down for one more. Let's get Obnixilis down. Let's go for the -3. Let's go -3 on Fallen, because we don't want them stealing stuff off the top of our library. And so we're going to go for the -3, and that does allow us to push in if we want to. So let's go and push in with a 4/5. I mean, if they've got some sort of hasty option with Obnixilis, so be it. So let's go and push in. Now, we don't have any sort of... I think we still end up holding on to Undying Evil or Undying Malice, because if something ends up happening to our commander with a piece of spot removal. I'd much rather be able to get it down for 1 mana than versus going for Ransack the Lab. So, all right, so we're going to swing it for 4, knock our opponent down to 35, and that'll be 4 total damage, and then we'll pass the turn over to our opponent. So there we go. But yeah, as far as whatever else is in the deck, we do have a little bit of light card draw. Saison, Perverter of Truth. We do have Font of Mythos in here. And as far as what else we've got going on, it's pretty standard, just kind of mono black good stuff. All right, so our opponent's going to pass the turn. And let's see what we draw into for the turn. That's going to be the Eye of Vecna, Phyrexian Arena card draw. Draw into a swamp, get that life gain. We're not going to pay 2 for Vecna right now, but we will very soon. So let's go to our draw step. All right, so let's go ahead and drop in Swamp. Let's go for the +1. We draw a card and lose a life. And with Dark Petition, we're going to be able to get Spell Mastery online. And yeah, we definitely want to do that. So let's go for Dark Petition. And we're going to be able to add 3 mana to our mana pool. So let's go Dark Petition, because what we want to do is, if we're going to get some really good card advantage going with Eye of Vecna, Phyrexian Arena, we want to be able to kind of make our opponent hit some life loss. So let's get this popped down. Let's grab Veto. Let's get Veto on the battlefield. Whenever we gain life, they're going to lose that much life. And then anything else. We do have Ransack the Lab, but I think we're okay, because we're going to leave up these Undying and Undying Malice. So let's go and push in with Sheoldred again. And that's going to be 4 coming across. It's going to be 8 total commander damage, and that will drop him down to 29. And then next turn, and let's see what this last little bit is. If this is a flash creature, because they are tapping down for a pretty good chunk of them. That's going to be Cyclonic Rift. Okay. And that's going to send everything back to the hand. Okay, that's going to get it. All right, so it's going to send everything back to the hand. Very good play by our opponent. And let's go to our main phase. And let's go for Eye of Vecna. Let's get that down to get an additional card draw. And we draw into another swamp. And then we're going to go to our end step and discard down to hand size. So let's go and dump Swamp, Swamp, Swamp. And then that's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need to get down to 10. Let's get rid of Ransack the Lab. Let's get rid of Inverter. We'll get rid of one of our Undying Evil pieces. And I think, there we go. All right, so that's good. Anything else, pass it to our opponent. So we did get hit with the Cyclonic Rift. They got the reset on us. Next turn, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. We've got Phyrexian Arena. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we've got up to 8 mana, so we might end up going for the Eye of Vecna, because that's going to be 8 minus 2, that'll be 6, and that'll be Phyrexian Arena, which will leave us with 3. And if we hit the land drop off that, then that'll allow us to go for Ancient Craving at the same time. So we'll see what's going to happen. But one thing that we do want to grab is some sort of spot removal, or some sort of board wipe potentially. So we'll see what we can do about this. This is going to be Cunning Evasion. We'll take a quick look at that in just a second. Yeah, I think we're actually okay with going for, because we can get down Sheoldred. Yeah, let's pass on the Eye of Vecna right now. Let's kind of redeploy out. Ooh, and there's Ancient Tomb. All right, so let's go and drop in Ancient Tomb. And I think we just, I like going for Obnixilis. Let's go 1, 2. And here's one of the nice things about Sheoldred is with the life loss, with mono black, being able to get that extra life gain. Oh, it makes a huge difference. All right, so we're going to go for the minus with Obnixilis. That's still going to end up being Sheoldred. Yeah, we can do this. So it's going to be Sheoldred, and then that'll still give us Undying Evil, and then anything else past it. All right, so we're back in business pretty much. That's going to be chipping away at their life total. And so one thing that we do want to find with this is we do have Torment of Hellfire, but if we can dig into Purity of the Abyss, this would definitely be one way that we can close it out. The only downside is, you know, if we're playing against like a mono green deck, that's not too bad going for Purity of the Abyss, but if we're playing against a Dimir, you know, control style deck, it is something that, you know, do we really want to be tapping out 7 mana for Purity of the Abyss and then get hit with the counter spell? So that is something we're trying to keep in mind, is slowly getting this incremental value over the course of the game. So let's see what this Cunning Evasion is again. Archon of Cruelty. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Okay, so let's do this. Let's have Archon enter the battlefield, and let's go for Undying Evil on Sheoldred. And so that way we can sacrifice it, and we'll sacrifice Sheoldred, and then let's and actually that should. Okay, yes, the Undying works. I got really worried for a second that the way I set up Undying did not work. Do we gonna actually? I think we're okay with getting rid of, because we can hold on to Veto's going to double it up, but they've only got one card in the hand, the Torment of Hellfire. They have a lot of permanents out there, so let's just go and dump Torment of Hellfire right now. And with we're not going to return Sheoldred back to the command zone because we've got the Undying from Sheoldred coming back up. There we go. Coming back onto the battlefield. So now we're sitting at a 5/6. And then that's whenever it attacks. So we do need to at least get another creature on the battlefield to keep Sheoldred around if we don't want it to die next turn from the discard ability. So let's see what we rip into. We will end up going for Eye of Vecna. So we're going to go for 2 off of Ancient Tomb. Yes, we will pay that. So we draw into Deserted Temple. And we're looking for a spot removal right now. Some sort of way to kind of deal with our opponent's creatures out there. Alright, so we're going to gain a little bit of life. Let's get Veto onto the battlefield. And let's go for the Ob Nixilis +1, draw a card. Alright, so that's going to chip away at our opponent's life total. Let's go for Ancient Craving. So we're going to draw 3 cards. Let's go and always yield to Sheoldred. And see, look at this. Let's go and always yield to this too. Drop them down to 26, and we do run into Demonic Tutor. Okay, so let's drop in Deserted Temple. So that does give us the option to... We can Toxic Deluge next turn, if we wanted to. We can Demonic Tutor this turn for Peer into the Abyss and try to close the game out. I think we give that a shot. So let's go for Demonic Tutor this turn, because they are shields down. So we're going to go Demonic Tutor, and we're going to grab Peer into the Abyss. If they have a way to stop this, they do. But at this point, I'd rather have it in our hand to try to close it out. And if they somehow, if they've got counter magic, whatever, they do have Sensei's Divining Top. But if they end up going shields down on this one, then I do feel really good about this Peer into the Abyss. So, but yeah, with Sheoldred, you can see, you know, simply just getting down Veto, and then just getting stuff like Ancient Craving, like that last turn. We had Ancient Craving, we had a card draw from Ob Nixilis, Ancient Craving for 3 card draw, and then we could have gone for a Knight's Whisper had we not had Demonic Tutor in our hand. And so you can see where this is really why. Oh no. Oh, excuse me, they're going to gain control of Veto. Okay, that's perfect. If they're going to go for Agent of Treachery. Oh, and excuse me, if they do end up going for Agent of Treachery, that does... Alright, so we've got Toxic we can go for next turn, because that'll get rid of the entire board state. So, dang it, that's a bummer. Okay, I was trying to figure out why they didn't grab Sheoldred. But now I do understand, because once they get that and they get the attack, then they're going to be able to force us to get rid of Sheoldred. But we can still do some setting up for next turn. But yeah, you know, getting that... and where is... Let's see where... Ob Nixilis is being attacked by Archon of Cruelty. And actually, yeah, we'll go and sacrifice Ob Nixilis. And when you do need to discard a card, we'll go and get rid of... I think at this point, what we'll do is we'll get rid of Phyrexian Arena. If we're going to be going for Peered in the Abyss, I think that's okay. So, they're going to gain that much life. Okay, so whenever you gain life, and I think we can still, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. I think we're okay still going for a Peered into the Abyss on this one next turn, because they are tapped out. They do have Arcane Signet and Chromatic Lantern, but I think we're okay trying to jam this Peer into the Abyss. So, let's get Lightning Greaves onto the battlefield. Not going to pay 2 for Eye of Vecna, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, we do have enough with this. So, that's going to be Sheoldred. We go to 28. Let's drop in Lightning Greaves on Ancient Tomb. And if we get this to stick, we should be in a good spot. We'll see if this gets counter out of their hand or not. So let's get Lightning Greaves onto Sheoldred. And then let's go for Peer into the Abyss on our opponent. And we'll see if this is good or not. We'll see if they've got counter magic. They do have Arcane Signet and Chromatic Lantern. We are putting it all out there. And we'll see if this is good or... Alright, there we go. It looks like we're going to be able to get it on this one. Let's get these triggers on the stack. Always yield to the Sheoldred triggers. Click OK. There we go. Drop our opponent down to 0. So our opponent did not have any counter magic. We were able to close it out with Peer into the Abyss. When we're playing mono black, I always like to try to grind it out if I can. But getting to this point where we're getting to turn 12, I did want to try to close the game out and, you know, go for the risk of if they had counter magic, they've got it. If not, then we're going to be able to close it out with Peer into the Abyss. So you can see with Sheoldred, you can just go regular mono black value, good stuff, toss in a couple different win conditions like Peer into the Abyss, and you're good to go. So anyways, if you enjoyed the game, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.